Courtroom 2, Office Norris. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Hey, Ms. Kim.
Yes, I still have to interview Mr. Bradshaw, Bargales, and Macalona and Tucker.
Yeah, we're going to go get them. They actually brought them over here not too long ago.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll call you when I get a chance.
Yeah, please call me. Thank you. Mr. Tucker will be P.D. Patel, but anyway, thank you. P.D. Patel will interview Mr. Tucker.
Yeah, Bartel's talking right now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're ready to start.
Your Honor, I have a few announcements, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, we have not been able to interview two inmates from Alpharetta Jail who was transported from Alpharetta to Rice Street Jail. So we still have to interview them. And one of them is actually, we need Spanish interpreter for them.
Oh, wow.
Your Honor, we need a Spanish interpreter for 2 people. We also need for Martinez. And she's in the courtroom too.
Let me see which positions. we've got to get these done a lot earlier and find out if we can, so that Mr. Jordan can order one. Friday, we should be able to, but
Mr. Jordan was actually notified of that.
he was.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And we'll try to accommodate the breakouts that are going to need to happen. Even though it's a large calendar, we'll try to do our best. Want to move it along as best we can.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good afternoon.
I know. I
It's
said,
afternoon. I lost track of time here.
all right, let's tell me, well, if he knows, Miss Strong, can you check with Mr. Jordan to see if he was able to find a Spanish interpreter so they can start doing the breakout?
Mr. Jordan said he didn't get information on a Spanish interpreter, but he is looking to see if we can get one.
Uh-oh, Deputy, who'd you send that email to?
I thought it was Paul Bartels that had Martinez, correct?
No, sir. I think that's Ms. Kim.
Oh, no, you know what? That was McLeod. My
That
apologies.
is correct.
That's McLeod. My
Oh, yeah, Ms. McLeod. That's correct. Yes, sir. Hey, Ms. McLeod.
Hello.
So position 16 is McLeod and needs an interpreter.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what's the second one?
Position 4.
Okay.
That would be Ms. Kim's case.
Yes.
Okay. And then Ms. Kim, are those the two that need to go into a breakout? Or is there some others? You said from Alpharetta Jail?
Your Honor, they were actually transported from Alpharetta to here to Fulton County.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a deputy picking them up, bringing them to the courtroom as we speak.
Oh,
I already spoke to Ms. Kim about this.
so they're not there yet. Okay.
Your Honor, I also,
Which positions are those that are going to need a breakout when they get there? Do you know?
They actually don't need a breakout. They just need to speak to Ms. Kim on the phone.
Oh, they could just do it on the phone. Good.
Yes.
That'll help. And they're both Miss Kim's cases.
That is
Yes.
correct.
Okay. Which two are they, Miss Kim?
Bracho Bargales and Macalona.
Hold on a second.
17, position 17.
Okay.
And let me find out Bracho.
Bracho is position 4, so he does need a breakout with the Spanish interpreter.
Yes.
14 is Spanish as well?
No, 4.
Oh, 4. I had 4. I just didn't know the two coming from Alpharetta that needed to be spoken to, which is number 19 or 18. Which two, Miss Kim? 19?
For me, number 4 for Spanish interpreter and Martinez is, I believe, give me 1 second, Your Honor. I'll find the number.
Martinez is 16. So
Yes.
those are the same two. They're coming from Alpharetta as well as interpreters. There's not 2 additional cases.
No, Your Honor. I would like to clarify that Bracho and Martinez are 2 people who we need Spanish interpreter, and Bracho and Macalona are the 2 people who are coming from Alpharetta jail.
Okay. And the Racho or that, which is that what you're pronouncing is position 4?
Yes, position
Okay.
4, Bracho.
Okay. All right, let's get started.
and Your Honor, I'm sorry to interrupt. I did send a note in the chat room, but we would ask for a breakout room on number 3, Mr. Barge, to discuss the situation with that case and will waive reading of the charges.
All right,
Oh, I'm sorry. What position is that, Your Honor?
3.
Well, as you know, the state, we don't go off the record for those type of charges anymore. So the state will be counting the charge.
Right.
Well, no,
Well,
we're asking for the court to indicate that that we will waive the charges. We all, it's on the calendar what they are.
what we do is we turn off the live stream is what we've been doing lately.
Well,
But-
there are other issues. We're going to need a court order on that case.
Okay. All right, well, we'll start out in a breakout and see what happens. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations Calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's Office has already accused the cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will be usually the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. So we are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I'm going to begin by advising everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. I want to also remind the defendants that you have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you have a right to counsel at this juncture in your case. You should know who your attorney is by now and listen to your attorneys. You also have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. So listen to your attorneys. All right, who do we have first, deputies?
Your Honor, first we have Mr. Devonta Tucker, and he's position 23, I believe.
23, okay?
No, that would be my case, Your Honor.
Okay. This is 23 CR 00385Y. Devonta Tucker, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction. The offense date is May 8th. Trial.
14 total. Last arrest was in February. Battery.
Yeah, and not to cut pretrial off, but the state was going to consent to a $1,500 SOB on this case.
All right. SOB through
The
jail or
jail.
pretrial? Jail.
Yeah.
All right. Any?
No objection from defense, Your Honor.
All right, we'll do that. Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Mr. Walker.
I will enter that order for $1,500 signature bond through the jail. I will order that there be no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Are there any other conditions that the state is requesting?
There are none.
Okay, all right. You have that, Ms. Strong. Next,
Your Honor, what was that bond
Can you
amount?
repeat that, Judge? Yes.
that was 1,500 SOD jail. And just no drugs, alcohol, weapons, guns while on bond, no other conditions.
Thank you, Judge, and thank you, Mr. Walker.
Mhm.
Hey, Mr. Bartell, I'm getting ready to call you for Miss Lee.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm about to put on Miss McLeod's case.
Yeah, that was a, yes, sir. Thank you. That was a conflict case.
Yeah. Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 16. Not, no,
Okay.
sorry, it's going to be position number 20. Ms. Porter,
Okay. This is 23 CR 003844F.
All right.
Rodrigia Porter,
Miss Lee.
charged at 1 count of theft by deception, 2nd count of criminal trespass. Offense date is June 15, 2023. Pretrial.
11 total. 2022 disorderly conduct conviction. 2021 probation, failure to appear. 2021 sale of marijuana, criminal trespass. 2020 2 counts of giving false name conviction. 2019 trespass, NOLO. 2015 probation. 2014 criminal damage to property, first degree, first offender.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant currently has a $2,000 surety bond to the 1 count criminal trespass. She also has a $2,500 surety bond to the 1 count theft by deception. In this case, Your Honor, the defendant attempted to rent out the property located at 4010 Fennel Circle in Atlanta, Georgia, to a Mr. Terrence Holt. The rightful owner of the property, Ms. McKenna Poole, contacted APD. They were able to locate the defendant at the home, and she attempted to produce a false rental agreement. The other victim in this case, Terrence Holt, where he paid the defendant $1,000 to rent the home. He also was on the scene. At that time, the defendant was arrested for the criminal trespass and the theft by deception. Based on the facts of this case and the defendant's criminal history, we are asking that the bond maintain as said.
All right. Ms. McLeod?
Your Honor, my client is 29 years old. She lives in the Atlanta metro area and has lived here all of her life. She is the mother of 2 minor children, a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. She tells me that she currently lives in the Riverdale area with her mom and her 2 children. She is self-employed. She prepares taxes. As the court knows, this is not tax season, so she doesn't really have any money to pay this bond. So I understand that my client does have some history, Your Honor. She tells me that what happened was that she was helping one of her clients to try to find a home, and there had been this particular home that was advertised, and she went there and she told me that she actually paid someone $2,000 as rent for this home, and he gave her the keys and everything. So she was there showing, the home with her client when the police came. So she was a victim herself, Your Honor. This is what she tells me. Nothing further, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, we will be asking for a stay away from the location.
My client won't have a problem with the stay away.
All right, let me sound for the victim. Is it Ms. Poole?
Yeah, Ms. Poole and a Mr. Terrence Holt.
Ms. Poole or Mr. Holt, are they on the line? All right, I'm going to leave the bond as already preset. So $4,500 surety bond. That's $2,000 on the theft by deception. Or did I say it backwards? $2,000 on the criminal trespass and $2,500 on theft by deception.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. There will be a stay away from 4010 at Fennel Circles in Atlanta.
That is correct.
No further contact with the victims, Ms. Poole and Terrence Holt. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons or guns as well while on bond. All right, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Next.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 8, Ms. Venecia Kane. And what was that last bond amount, Your Honor?
That was 4,500 surety. This is 23 CR 003833J, Venecia Kane, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, 2nd count of disorderly conduct, 3rd count of preventing or disrupting lawful meetings, gatherings, or processions. Offense date June 15, 2023. Pre-trial.
It's a 3rd adult arrest. She's on probation for simple battery in state court. 22 CR 000872J. And she got a 2017 afraid conviction.
Okay. State.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state has brought 3 charges against Ms. Kane for an incident that occurred yesterday. It occurred at Fulton County Magistrate Court, 185 Central Avenue, Atlanta. Ms. Kane, along with Asantia and Taranika Kane, Asantia Kane and Taranika Kane got into an altercation with Brianna Williams while at court and did not heed verbal commands from a law officer to disengage from the altercation. Given that Ms. Venecia has violent history, we're asking for a doubling of the current recommendation to a total of $5,000 surety bond. No contact with the victim, Ms. Williams. Stay away from the incident location, the court, unless official business is conducted. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, and an anger awareness class.
And tell me again, you said there's already preset bond?
Yes, on the 1,000 for the obstruction, 1,000 for the disorderly, and 500 for the disruption. And we're asking for a doubling of that.
Okay. Now I understand. I was confused. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Edgars?
Not at this time.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, my client is 22 years old. She is the mother of a 4-year-old child that she takes care of. She tells me that she is gainfully employed as a pharmacy tech, and she has graduated from high school. She denies that she caused any kind of ruckus at the courthouse. She just says she was there, and the cross defendants, I believe, were the one who tried to engage her in a fight, which of course she did not fight, but were exchanged apparently. But she says she definitely was not the one who started any of this, Your Honor. I understand that there are preset bonds, but my client doesn't have any money to pay bond. So I would ask the court, given the fact that this is her third arrest, I believe the pretrial said, and considering the nature of what happened, if the court would consider giving her a signature bond. If the court is disinclined to do so, I would ask that the bonds remain as set, certainly that they not be increased. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. How old did you say she was?
22, Your Honor, and she does have a 4-year-old that she takes care of.
And so all of the participants have been charged?
That was my understanding, Your Honor. On not just her, but the other people, the cross defendants there are.
That's correct. I believe the other 2 defendants are on today's calendar, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor. It's 6, 7, and 8. I believe the present case, Ms. Taranika is number 7. Our office will be representing number 6, Ms. Asantia Kane. But yes, they all involve the same incident, allegedly.
And I don't mean to be all over the place, but do we need a second conflict defender?
Sounds like we might.
I mean, I can't weigh in on that question, but our office's position is that we can only represent one, and we would represent the first one, which is number 6.
Well, I am representing one of the others because based on what I was told, there were co-defendants and not cross-defendants, and their interests were not different, but I will defer to the court.
Yeah, I've looked at the warrant and there's not a lot of information, so I can't really say whether they're co-defendants or cross-defendants at this point.
Well, I think they would be considered co-defendants, but nonetheless, I think currently only 2 of them are represented. Is that correct?
I represent
1.
2, actually.
Oh, you represent 2? Okay, well, I'll let you handle that, but I think that might be a conflict, but.
I only represent Venecia and Taranika Kane.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let me go back then to position 8, Venecia Kane. She has an open case in state court already. I'm going to leave the bond where it is at the 2,500, 1,000 on the willful obstruction, 1,000 on the disorderly, and 500 on the preventing the disrupting the meetings. I am going to order a stay away from the Fulton County Magistrate Court at 185 Central unless she has official business to come to court. But if you don't have a specific court case, Ms. Kane, this case, or you have another open case, then you should not be at the courthouse. I'm going to order no further contact with Brianna Williams.
Done already? Lawrence? Her. Did you-
And I'm gonna order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I won't order the anger awareness course at this time or anything else.
Thank you.
Wow.
Anything else?
Judge, I'm sorry, what is the total bond amount?
2,500 surety.
Thank you. Position 22, Thompson.
Okay. I was gonna say, Deputy, we had the 6, 7, and 8 are all the same facts, but I won't get you out of order. Because then they won't have to repeat the facts with those cases.
Yeah, the only thing is, position 7, she's a conflict and she needs to be interviewed by courtroom 3.
Oh, okay.
So they have to do a breakout with the Spanish interpreter, and that'll be Miss McLeod.
Okay.
And she
No
also
worries.
has-
Look, you've got it going. I won't interrupt the flow. All right. So this is 22, Thompson.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
23 CR 003846C. Quintarious Thompson charged with driving while license suspended or revoked. Offense date June 15.
It's his first arrest. He got a hold for Avondale Estates Police Department.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant was stopped by law enforcement upon making contact with the defendant. It was determined that he did not have a valid driver's license and was in fact suspended. He was taken into custody at that time. The state is asking for a $1,000 surety bond with the condition of no driving without a valid license.
All right. Mr. Bartels.
That is Ms. Kim's case, Your Honor.
Oh.
I can try to contact her.
I'm here, Your Honor. I
Oh, okay.
apologize.
Okay.
What was the number again, please? Position number?
I'm sorry. Oh, 22.
Yes,
Thompson.
yes, I have it right here.
Okay.
I apologize, Your Honor. I was texting. I was actually on the phone with
Oh, I know we have a
client
lot
from-
going on today, so I appreciate your diligence.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson is actually 29 years old and he was born and raised here in Georgia. Your Honor, he has all his family members here, cousins and everybody. He completed up to 12th grade, but he could not graduate from high school. However, he got his GED and he has been working at Advanced Auto Parts. Your Honor, he's making enough money, so he will not be represented by Public Defender Services after this hearing. Your Honor, he has a Fording County hold at Avondale, and she would like to actually, I'm sorry, I have been addressing you as a he, I apologize. This is a very minor traffic violation, so we would like to request for signature on bond, so she can be basically released to Avondale Police Department.
All right. I'm going to order the $1,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order that she be released to Avondale Estates for the hold. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I'm going to order no driving at all unless you have a valid license. It looks like you don't. So no driving till you can get a valid license. That would be it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can we backtrack and give me the bond amount for position number 20? Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's gonna be a $4,500 surety bond.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Also, Judge Mincy, for
Yes.
courtroom 3, can you please have them go into a breakout with Ms. McLeod and the Spanish interpreter?
All right. Did you hear that, Ms. Grace? I think Ms.
This is
Grace.
Miss Champion. It's Miss
Oh, I'm
Champion.
sorry.
That's her host. What was said again?
Courtroom 3. And say that again, deputies.
Courtroom 3 for the breakout with Ms. McLeod and the Spanish interpreter.
The Spanish interpreter is not logged on at this time. Once they log on, I'll put them in the breakout room.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I thought I heard Miss Grace and Miss Strong. Who's the host is Miss Champion and then.
Yes, ma'am. And Miss
litigation-
Grace was filling in for Miss Strong, but Miss Strong is your litigation manager for today.
Okay, good. I thought I heard a voice. Okay, thank you.
Position 14, Ms. Cavanagh.
Okay. This is 23 CR 003839C. Sadie Cavanagh, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is June 5th, 2023. And do I was making sure my calendar is correct. It is just the 1 charge?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, go ahead, pretrial.
20 total, 2014 dangerous drugs, fraudulent activity, and traffic offense out of Michigan, and a 2011 retail theft conviction. That's it.
All right. State?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on June 6th of 2023 at 8:30 Tallulah Court, and it's TALLULAH, where officers responded to a dispute between 2 women. Upon arrival, they made contact with the victim, Ms. Kiana Neal, in which Ms. Neal advised officers that she simply adjusted the thermostat, and that enraged the defendant. The defendant began banging on her door. Ms. Neal again attempted to de-escalate the situation. She left the residence. However, upon return, the defendant yelled things at her such as, "Your gas tank isn't locked on your car." Miss Neal returned back to her room, and then she started hearing noises in the garage. So then she went downstairs to go check on her car. Upon getting downstairs to check on her car, the defendant decided to lock the front door and not allow Miss Neal back into the house. After some time, she eventually opened the door. It is at this time that Miss Neal stuck her foot into the door and finally got inside of the house. At this point, both the victim and the defendant began shoving each other. However, Ms. Neal decided to retreat and go upstairs. And it was at that time that the defendant grabbed Ms. Neal by the leg and bit her on the right thigh above the knee, leaving a noticeable injury that officers did see. Your Honor, we believe that this defendant A is a danger to the community, as she is a multi-state offender. You heard about those charges, the flight risk. The defendant fled the scene, and officers actually tried to reach out to her. However, she did not return the call. Our victim witness advocate did have the opportunity to speak with the victim, and the victim and the defendant each ran out of room at the home. The victim stated that the defendant has attacked her in the past. The police were called, but no arrest was made because there were no witness. The victim did confirm the events in the warrant, which is what I have stated. The victim stated that she is currently 6 months pregnant and that the bruise on her thigh has gotten worse since the incident, and she believes that it is infected. She plans to seek medical attention. She stated that due to this incident, they both have been terminated from their leases. So now our victim is essentially, she has to find somewhere else to stay. The victim stated that she has no plan to return to the residence. but that she was given until the 30th of this month to retrieve her belongings. If the defendant is allowed to go back to the house, the victim is going to ask for a one-time law enforcement escort, or she be allowed to go to the house to get her things first. Your Honor, for those reasons, the state is asking for a $3,000 surety bond, stay away from 830 Tallulah Court, and no further contact with the victim, Ms. Kiana Neal. I do believe she's on, so at the appropriate time, I ask that the court sound for her.
All right. Ms. Neal, Kiana Neal, are you on the Zoom? Kiana Neal? Ms. Neal, if you don't want to make a statement to the court, we will move ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Bargales.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with Ms. Cavanagh. She does deny causing any sort of injury to Ms. Neal. The state had indicated that the police had previously been called because of a disagreement. What I'm told is that Ms. Cavanagh was the one that called the police because Ms. Neal was attacking her. So it is correct. I've been told that Ms. Neal, the alleged victim, has been evicted from this particular place. I don't think they're roommates, Your Honor. I'm advised that it's like an apartment house or a rooming house. They live in two separate residences. So I don't believe that it would actually be a family violence issue. That would be our position because they're just maybe living in the same building, but certainly not in the same household. Yeah, Ms. Cavanagh is employed. She works for a cooking warehouse with food delivery. We would not be opposed to a no further contact order. My understanding is that Ms. Neal is not going to continue to live here. Ms. Cavanagh can find another place to stay if necessary, if there's going to be a no further contact order. But again, this is not a domestic violence situation, would be our position. Ms. Cavanagh does have a fiance and his extended family that live in the metro Atlanta area. So she does have ties to the community. And again, she is denying the allegations, but I know that will have to wait to another time to try the issue of fact. She indicates that she was actually injured by Ms. Neal, and she has photos of that, but they're on her cell phone, which is in property. But at this time, we would just ask for a $1,500 good bond. I think that is a fair request with all the circumstances of this case.
All right. I'm getting seeing a chat from Miss Kiana Neal. If you wish to speak, briefly and quickly turn on your camera and your microphone. If I can't see or hear you, you can't speak. I see you're signed on, but you've got to figure out how to work all that real quickly. All right, we will move forward. I'm going to order that $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 830 Tallulah Court. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Kiana Neal. I'm going to allow a one-time law enforcement escort to return to the property to retrieve her items. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that should do it. Okay.
Position number
Oh,
7.
Your Honor, thank you.
I'm sorry, Deputy.
Position 17, natural lesson.
Macalona.
Macalonian.
This is 23 CR 003841Y, Daniel Macalonian, charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence, pretrial.
First.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident took place on June 16th of 2023, where officers responded to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, officers came in contact with Miss Leah McIntyre, Leah Leah McIntyre McIntyre, who stated that herself and the defendant got home from a night out and were in the kitchen talking when he grabbed her by the left ankle and took her leg out from under her, causing her to fall and injure her tailbone. The defendant also told officers that they got into a verbal altercation and he was laying in the kitchen floor and the victim was walking by and grabbed her leg, causing her to fall. The victim and the defendant are in a relationship. They live together. They share no children. The victim confirmed the events in the warrant. The victim stated that she is still in a little pain from the incident, but does not wish to seek medical attention. She stated she does not want to press charges. However, Your Honor, you are aware of the cycle of violence and how one incident can turn into a next. Your Honor, also, we have a concern for a risk of intimidation, given that they are in a relationship, and essentially there is a risk of intimidation given the nature of their relationship. Also, I noticed that there was a difference in between the stories. One of them, the defendant said that they were in a verbal altercation, and then, however, the victim stated that they were just talking. So, Your Honor, I also think that maybe there's a chance that she may change her story, or he may end up changing his story, Your Honor. For those purposes, we are requesting a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Ms. Leah McIntyre, and a stay away from 1995 Wilshire Glen. Thank you.
All right.
And at the appropriate time, if you can sound for the victim as I see she's on.
Mhm. All right, is Miss McIntyre on the call? Leah McIntyre? All right,
Yes,
Go
I
ahead.
see her screen,
Oh.
Your Honor.
Ms. McIntyre, do you wish to address the court today?
I do.
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, what would you like to state?
I wanted to state that I'm not pressing any charges. It was just an accident, and I told the police that I didn't want him to be taken. He's a
Well,
good guy, and
let me
I
ask you-
feel comfortable and trust him.
Okay, are you in fear of Mr. Macalona?
No.
Okay. All right,
Your Honor, if I may just ask her maybe like 3 questions.
yes, go
Yes.
ahead, Mr. Jones.
Ms. McIntyre, did you call the police to your residence on this particular day?
I did not.
You did not. Okay. Did you tell the police that the defendant grabbed you by your left ankle and took out your leg, which caused you to fall and hit your tailbone?
I mean, when they asked, yeah.
Okay. And did you also tell them that you were in pain from this injury?
Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, yeah.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, any cross-examination, PD Kim?
Miss Leah, would you say that that was an accident, right? I
Yes.
believe that's what I heard. Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor, in terms of my witness. I would like to talk about Mr. Daniel Macalona, my client. He is 33 years old and he was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor. And he graduated from college with a bachelor's degree at IT. And he has been working as a technical project manager, Your Honor, for the last 7 years for one company. However, all his entire career, he's been working for IT. Your Honor, my concern is he has a special medical condition that he has to take medicine by 3 p.m. today. If he doesn't, he says that usually 1 or 2 hours later, he gets passed out. So I was wondering if officer from the jail can bring his medicine so that way he can take it without any severe injury. And I would like to request for a signature on bond since this is his first offense ever. And I believe that it was an accident. I don't think that there was any intention of hurting anybody. Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond. And by the way, about 1995 wheel shower, that one is actually my client's place. He owns it. And Miss Leah has her own place. They have been living together about 1 month. However, if Your Honor has to order stay away, I don't think it should be from his own place. And we strongly would like to recommend for no further violent contact. Thank you.
All right, Ms. McIntyre,
Yes.
do you reside at this incident location, the Wilshire Glen?
Yeah, it is his place, but yeah, I've been living there for the past like 3 to 4 months.
Are you still there now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond. And that signature bond will be through the jail. I'm going to order a stay away from 1995 Wilshire Glen Boulevard. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim at this time. There's not been the ample cooling off period. I don't even believe it's been 24 hours. Make sure that there won't be any additional incident. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I'm going to order him to take a 1-day anger awareness course of his choice. Seems like he should have the means to pay for that. All right.
Your Honor, if Miss Leah McIntyre moves to her own place, can my client return to his home? I mean, we can have a one-time law enforcement officer visit to verify if she moved out or not.
Ms. McIntyre, do you intend to move out?
I mean, I guess that's up to you guys with the court system, but I mean, I feel comfortable with him. I don't feel like I'm in harm's like or in danger or anything like that.
Well, that wasn't my question. Although you answered that you're not, I have determined as the judge that we need the proper cooling off period. So right now you're not to be around Mr. Macalona. And so there's no further contact with the two of you. So if you're going to continue to stay there, then he has to find somewhere else. And that's what my order is.
I can go back to my place. I can go back to my place. That way he can have.
Okay, so that's going to happen. You move out immediately. He may be there within 24 hours or so. So we'll have on the record that Ms. McIntyre stated that she will be moving out of the residence and that Mr. Macalona take a one-time law enforcement escort with you back to the property to determine that she is moved. And if the victim has moved, then you can stay there. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position 6, Kane. First name is Asantia.
All right, position 6.
Yes, Your Honor. The state has, this is related to case number 8, Asantia Kane. The state has brought 3 charges, obstructing law enforcement, disorderly conduct, disrupting court proceeding. This occurred yesterday at Fulton Magistrate Court, 185 Central Avenue. Ms. Kane, along with Taranika Kane and Venecia Kane, got into an altercation with Brianna Williams while at court and did not heed verbal commands from a law officer to disengage from the altercation. The state is fine with the preset bonds of a total $2,500, $1,000 for the obstruction, 1,000 for the disorderly, 500 for the disrupting court. And I should have asked this before, but the state would like to sound for the victim, Brianna Williams, at this time.
Okay, it's Miss Brianna Williams on the Zoom. Brianna Williams. All right. This is Mr. Bartels.
My case, Your Honor, thank you. Yes, I have looked over the paperwork, such as it is, and I've spoken with Ms. Asantia Kane. She is number 6. That's who our office represents. There are warrants on the cases. There's kind of a paucity of information, especially regarding, what she allegedly did to put anybody in fear of their safety. The warrant does indicate a verbal altercation, or my client said it was a verbal disagreement, but that was it. But if we can leave that aside, it does appear, well, from both pretrial and from what I'm told by my client, this is her very first arrest. She has no previous arrests or any criminal record. And in light of that, and she does understand that she is not to go back to the courthouse unless she is there on a case of her own. We figured that would be a condition of bond. But given all of that and her lack of criminal history, we would ask for a signature bond in this case.
All right.
And thank you, Your Honor. I apologize. Also, the state would ask for no contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location unless official business is there, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and an anger awareness class as a condition of bond.
All right. I'm going to order the $2,500 signature bond through pretrial. That'll be 1,000 on the willful obstruction, 1,000 on the disorderly conduct, and 500 on preventing or disrupting lawful meetings, for a total of 2,500. That surety bond through pretrial, I'll order the 1-day anger awareness course. I will order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons and guns while on bond. And I'm going to order a stay away from the magistrate court or 185 Central Avenue unless you have official court business or have to attend court. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Brianna Williams. And is the state asking no further contact with the co-defendant as well? I don't know if they live together or what.
That would be advisable.
Do you know, Mr. Bartels, do they live
I don't
together?
believe they live together, Your Honor. Ms. Kane, you do not live with your sister, correct?
Say yes or no? 'Cause we can't hear. No.
No.
Okay.
Okay, and I believe the other co-defendant is her aunt, so I don't see the issue with a no further contact order.
All right. No further contact with Brianna Williams and no further contact with Venecia Kane. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Can we do position number 16 in Spanish interpreting case, Ms. Martinez?
Are they ready?
Oh, Miss McLeod is on interviewing another.
No, Ms. McLeod, she should be ready.
No, she's on the phone with Miss Lee.
Oh, okay.
Position 5, Butler.
Okay. This is 23 CR 003830E, Shavonda Butler, charged with 1 count of theft of services, offense date May 19, 2023.
2013 suspended license, NOLO. 2012 driving without a valid license, conviction. Who is the state on this case?
State, who's doing this case? How many did you have, Mr. Howard? 3?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you're
Ian,
not sure.
Ian,
What position?
Ian, you got a Michigan history? Butler. The Michigan history didn't come back.
Page,
But it is
position
one,
5.
it's just not coming back.
1 second. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry. Isabel, can we come back to this case, please?
Oh, okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me look into it because I just need a moment. So I don't know if we can go to another case and come back to that.
Let's see if it's not yours.
I'm going to take it either way. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm
Thank
sorry, Deputy. Can we do another case?
Okay, that's fine. Can we do position number 15, Miss Lee? Come on, Lee. Have a
Okay.
right here in the chair.
This is 23 CR 003840B, Sonya Lee, charged with 1 count of simple battery. The offense date is July 15, 2023. Retrial.
Second arrest. Last arrest I got was 2011. 2 counts of controlled substance by fraud. Forgery and trafficking opium or heroin conviction. That was out of North Carolina.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident took place at Emory Hospital when on June 16, 2023, officers responded to the corner of West P Street and Linden and reference to a Caucasian female who spat on an Emory Hospital employee, later to be identified as the defendant, Ms. Sonya Lee. Upon arrivals, officers made contact with the victim, Mr. Antoine Hightower, who is employed by Emory, and the witness, Joshua Ramsey, who stated that the defendant began cursing at them and then called Mr. Hightower a N-word prior to spitting, and the spit made contact with his left arm. Your Honor, while we understand that this may be like a one-time incident, we do want to bring attention that Miss Lee has been there several times, and the victim has explained to us that he has asked her to leave several times. So this is just a escalation of things. Therefore, the state is asking for a $3,000 signature bond, no further contact with Antoine Hightower or Joshua Ramsey, and a stay away from Emory unless for medical purposes. The victim is on the line, Your Honor, so at the appropriate time, we will ask for the for the court to sound for him.
All right. The victims, Antoine Hightower or Joshua Ramsey. Are either of you on the, I see Antoine Hightower is signed in. Mr. Hightower, do you wish to address the court today? All right, we will go forward. Ms. McLeod.
We have no objections to the bond that the state has requested and the conditions attached thereto.
All right, that was
I just want to put, I'm sorry, I want to put on the record that my client is currently homeless.
How old is she?
She's 49.
All right, and the state recommended a $3,000 surety bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Signature bond, Your Honor. You said
no, we said surety.
Oh,
okay, I heard signature. So that's why I had no objections. My client has absolutely no funds to pay for bond, Your Honor. She is homeless. And she needs social worker services to help her to find housing. She has no significant criminal record at all. I believe I heard the trial said something in North Carolina in 2011, which was drug related. And she tells me she's had some issues with that, but she's worked for 20 years in customer service.
All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to ask that social services visit her to help with the challenges of residents.
We would appreciate that, Your Honor.
And I'm going to order a stay away from Emory Hospital unless she's receiving services. And even then, I hope that Ms. Lee, you act accordingly so that we don't have any more incidents with the employees of Emory Hospital in order for you to receive treatment. Otherwise, I'd tell you, you can't go there for treatment and you need to go somewhere else. So if you can't do that, then go to other medical facilities in the city for treatment. Stay away from the victims, Antoine Hightower and Joshua Ramsey. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Can we do position number 16 now, the Spanish interpreter case?
Mr. Walker?
Position number 16 would be mine, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry, wrong number. Okay. Madam Interpreter, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly affirm that you will faithfully interpret from Spanish to English and English to Spanish the proceedings before this court in an accurate manner to the best of your skill and knowledge with no embellishments?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, this is case number 23 CR 003829F. Yanidas Martinez, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property. Offense dates June 15.
First arrest.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Este va a ser el caso 23CR003829F, que es el caso de Yanidas Martínez. Se le tiene una acusación, un cargo de traspaso criminal y daño a propiedad, con una fecha de el 15 de junio del 2023.
All right. This is the first arrest per pretrial. So state, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. On June 16, 2023, officers responded to 1713 Jasmine Parkway in reference to a domestic incident.
Dice su señoría, el 15 de junio del 2023, agentes de policía respondieron al 1703 Jasmine Parkway por un alego de violencia.
Upon arrivals, officers met with the defendant and she informed our officers she was in an argument with her boyfriend, Samuel Bargales.
Cuando llegaron los policías, hablaron con la señora acusada y ella les indicó que había estado en un argumento con el novio Samuel Bargales.
During the argument, she took his phone and threw it against the wall.
Durante el argumento, ella tomó el teléfono de él y lo tiró en contra de la pared.
She then showed officers the phone in which they observed a cracked screen and the defendant admitted to cracking it.
De ahí los agentes vieron el teléfono, estaba rota la pantalla y la acusada admitió que ella había sido quien había roto la pantalla.
For those reasons, the state is asking for a $1,000 surety bond.
Por esa razón, el Estado, la Fiscalía, está pidiendo una fianza asegurada con $1,000.
That's it.
All right.
Your Honor,
Ms. McLeod?
my client is 18 years old. This is her first arrest. She tells me that the telephone in question was actually hers.
Su señoría, mi cliente tiene 18 años de edad, este es el primer arresto y ella me dice que el teléfono del cual se está hablando en realidad era de ella.
She also tells me, Your Honor, that they just had an argument. There was nothing physical involved between her and her boyfriend.
También me dice ella que tuvieron un argumento, una pelea, pero que no había nada físico envuelto, nada más fue un argumento verbal.
She tells me that neither her nor him called the police.
Me dice ella que ni ella ni él llamaron a la policía.
She lives with him and wants to continue to live with him.
Ella vive con él y quiere continuar viviendo con él.
I would ask the court to give her a signature bond so she can get out of jail, given that this was a fairly minor incident and she has no record.
Le pediría a la corte que la deje salir bajo fianza nada más con su firma, y ya que este ha sido en realidad un incidente un poco menor.
I would also ask that any bond that she receives be conditioned on no further violent contact between herself and Mr. Bargales.
También voy a pedir que cualquier fianza que ella reciba sea con la condición de que no exista en el futuro ningún contacto violento, ningún argumento violento con la otra persona.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Y eso
Okay.
es todo, su señoría.
Your Honor, the state is just asking for a no further contact as well. I'm not for sure if I said that or not.
No
Y la
further
fiscalía-
contact and no further violent contact.
No further contact from the state, Your Honor.
Y la fiscalía está buscando que la jueza otorgue que no puede haber contacto, no puede haber contacto en el futuro entre ambas partes.
Your Honor, my understanding of this case is that there was no violent contact in the first place and the telephone was hers.
Su señoría,
Therefore, go ahead.
de lo que yo entiendo, no hubo contacto violento en primer lugar en este caso y que el teléfono era de ella.
Your Honor, there's a cross defendant, which is position 4. Mr. Walker will come on to speak to what the police report states on that particular instance, and I do believe there was violence.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Y su señoría, el otro caso es el caso número 4 y el otro fiscal va a hablar sobre ese caso y creemos que sí hubo contacto violento.
Okay. I
My
think
client is not afraid of the cross defendant in any way, Your Honor. She's expressed that to me.
Mi cliente me ha expresado que ella no le teme, no tiene miedo de estar con la otra persona arrestada.
okay. All right, I'm going to order a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I'm going to order a stay away from 1713 Jasmine Parkway.
Well, Your Honor, actually, we're asking just for a no further contact. The cross defendant in this case, we're going to be requesting a stay away from the incident location.
Okay,
So for this defendant, we'll just be asking for a no further contact with the cross defendant, but we are okay with her returning to the resident. For
Okay.
position 4, we'll be asking for a stay away.
okay, that'll be fine. Thank you very much. So again, that will just be then no further contact with the cross defendant Samuel Bargales, if I'm pronouncing it halfway correct. And then the no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns.
Entonces, la orden judicial es la siguiente. Una fianza bajo firma, bajo palabra de $2,000, la cual puede ser hecha ahí en la cárcel. para que salga bajo fianza. No drogas, no alcohol, no armas durante el tiempo que esté bajo fianza. No contacto, cero contacto con el co-arrestado, el señor Samuel Bargales.
Okay.
Pero puede permanecer usted viviendo en el departamento, pero no puede tener ya más contacto con el señor Samuel Bargales.
All right, that should conclude the case. Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay.
Y eso es todo para su caso.
All right, are we gonna, deputies, are we going to do the other case 4?
I did not have a chance to interview my client yet. I was asking for breakout room with a Spanish interpreter.
Session 4 is here in courtroom 3 as well.
Can we get that done pretty quickly? For you to call PD Kim?
I was wondering if I am put into the breakout room with a courtroom 3 and certified Spanish interpreter, so I can interview my client, Bracho Bargales.
Can we do that, deputy, or do? Or
Yes,
can
we
they-
went on the breakout session.
In the meantime, we got number 7, Miss Kane.
What number you said?
7.
7.
All right, this is 23 CR 003822J. Taranika Kane, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction, 2nd count of disorderly conduct, and a 3rd count of preventing or disrupting a lawful meeting, June 15, 2023. Believe I'm pretty familiar now with the facts, Mr. Eggers. If you don't have to repeat them for me.
You got 2011 obstruction, disorderly conduct. She was recommended.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state is recommending the presets, a total of $2,500. 1,000 for the obstruction, 1,000 for the disorderly, and 500 for the disruption of court proceeding. No contact with the victim, Ms. Williams. Stay away from the court unless there is official business. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 33 years old. She is gainfully employed as a CDL driver. She drives trucks. She has no significant criminal history. I heard something about an arrest in 2011. Other than that, she has no criminal history. Therefore, I would ask the court to give her a signature bond so she can get out of jail and get back to taking care of her daughter. She tells me that she's the mother of a minor child, a 15-year-old. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to order the $2,500 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order a 1-day anger awareness course. I'm going to order stay away from 185 Central or the Magistrate Court unless you have official court date or reason to be there. No further contact with the victim, Ms. Williams, and the cross defendant for the other Kane case. I think it was Asantia Kane or something similar to that. So I apologize for mispronouncing the name. But no further contact with the cross defendants or co-defendants and the victim, Ms. Williams. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Your Honor, would the court consider the no further contact with her relative, but this is a close relative. I believe it's either her sister or her niece.
Well, we heard earlier that they don't reside together.
They do not. They
So
do
I'm
not
just trying to
reside.
make sure that they're finished or done with whatever the allegations are. You know, I guess they're not afraid of each other, but I don't know if they were all out there. The allegation is an altercation. I will stay with the no further contact for right now.
Is it enough for the contact with both of the Kanes or just one of them?
Oh, that's right. It's two other Kanes and then Williams.
Right, so in the other case, we only addressed Miss Venecia that Asantia should not have contact with. So are they not to have contact with?
All of them. So yeah, include them all.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, that should conclude this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
All right, next we have number 18, Ms. McNeil.
What position was that, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
18.
Okay.
Angel McNeil.
That was my case, Your Honor.
Okay. This is 23 CR 003842C. Angel McNeil charged with 1 count of battery family violence pretrial.
5th arrest, 2022 forgery in the 3rd, 2021 theft by taking, 2020 trespass and a DUI. That's it.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant got into a verbal altercation with her mother, Miss Kimberly McNeil. At that point, the altercation did turn physical. She did punch and then bite her mother. We will be asking for a stay away from the incident location of 2018 Turner Road, along with a $3,000 surety bond to the 1 count of battery family violence and no further contact with Kimberly McNeil.
Okay.
Your Honor, my client, Angel McNeil, is 21 years old. She is the mother of a 4-year-old son. The address where this incident allegedly happened is the home of Sophia Eubank, who is my client's grandmother. I have spoken with Miss Eubank, and I believe she is on the Zoom because she has told me that she does not want Mom back at this location. She wants her granddaughter back there, and she's going to get a restraining order so that Mom cannot come back there. She says Mom is a drug addict, and my client tells me that her mom came to the house, hit her in her face with a bottle of Jack Daniels and attacked her. So she was merely defending herself, Your Honor, and I was able to speak with Grandma, who I saw earlier on the Zoom, and she wanted to come on to tell the court how she feels about this incident that happened at her home. So if the court would sound for her, Your Honor.
Yes, is Kimberly McNeil on the Zoom?
No, Your Honor, for the grandma, her name is Sophia Eubank.
Oh, Sophia Eubank.
Your Honor, her name is Cecilia Banks.
I'm sorry?
It's Cecilia Banks, not Sophia, ma'am.
Cecilia?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I got Sophia. Guess I got the name wrong. But I know I saw her on earlier, Your Honor.
She's the grandmother, but she was not the victim.
She is not the victim, but it is
That's
her
correct, Your
home.
Honor. And it's my understanding the victim, per the warrant, the victim lives at that address as well.
Well, the owner of the house says she can't live there.
Well,
Miss
you have to take
Cecilia?
steps to court to remove somebody from your property, Miss McLeod.
Apparently, she doesn't really live there.
That's within the 4 corners of the warrant. I wasn't there. That's just what's in the warrant.
Well, I was able to speak to the owner of the house, and that was the impression I got. And she was on earlier. I don't know what happened.
Well, she's either frozen there or walked away from her phone or her computer. But I see a Cecilia's A54. I'll sound one last time for Cecilia Eubank. All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond. With that signature bond, through the pretrial per judge, I'm going to order a 1-day anger awareness course. I'm going to order a no further contact with Kimberly McNeil. And I'm hesitant here. I was gonna not order the stay away, but I guess we have to make sure, I don't know, as Mr. Walker says, for the mom, I guess, or someone.
Yeah. I mean, that's the information I pulled from the warrant. That's why it's a family violence, because they reside together.
Mhm.
So unless somebody's here to speak to that the mother does not live there, which is not my understanding. And even if the homeowner does want her to leave the property, we all know that you can't just illegally evict someone. You have to take the legal process through court to have someone removed from your property. So as of right now, the mother is a tenant at that location.
Yeah. And there hasn't been an ample cooling down period. So I would, I know she's only 21 with a small child. She's going to have to find somewhere else to live unless she can have a one-time escort to go back to determine that her mother does not reside there.
Hello.
You would ask for that, Your Honor. And I think
Grandma, they trying to keep me.
Grandma is trying to log in again, Your Honor. I got to see her earlier.
Yeah, well, she's not the victim, but she needs to hurry up. I really, don't need to hear too much. I just want to see about the living conditions. If she can get it together, if she can't, I have to move on.
Can I speak? Can I speak now?
Only if I can see you.
I'm having problems with the phone. I'm here. Can you see me now?
I can see you now. Yes.
Okay.
State your name for the record, please.
My name is Cecilia Banks.
Banks, not you, Banks.
No, Banks. Banks.
Okay. All right. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right. I have one or two questions for you.
Okay.
Since you're not the victim in this case, I'm not going to allow you to go too far deep into this case. But who resides at your home, Miss Banks?
Angel.
Angel who?
Angel McNeil.
Has Kimberly McNeil stayed with you as well?
No, she does not.
Okay, the warrant states that she does reside there.
No, she does, ma'am. No, she does not.
Does she stay there overnight sometimes?
Maybe because she has other children here, but no, ma'am, she don't stay there at all. She just not her residence.
But she may spend the night with her children or stay sometimes?
From time to time, but very seldom. Very seldom. I'll put it that way. Very seldom.
Well, what my concern is, Ms. Banks, is that if I allow Angel McNeil to return there while she's on bond, and she's to have no further contact with Kimberly McNeil, her mom, that her mom will come there or she'll be there and there will be other incidences, because we still make sure that they're going to be safe and that they're not going to break the conditions of their bond.
Well, I consider that because let me tell you, Angel has a medical condition and that requires her to be watched very carefully at times.
Mm-hmm.
Angel has grand mal seizures.
Okay. And so you take care of her as well?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's my baby. That's one of my babies. That's one of my babies.
I understand. All right. Well, I'm going to not order the stay away, but I would like at one time law enforcement escort to go there to make sure that Miss McNeil is not there before Angel McNeil can reside there. Will we make that happen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. But she's to have no further contact with Kimberly McNeil, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
All right.
All right. That'll be it. Thank you for your time, Ms. Banks.
You're welcome.
Judge, can we go back to position 5, Ms. Butler? Are they still waiting?
No, we're not. And that's Attorney Eggers' case. So he'll be logging on to handle that matter. Thank you.
Yes, that's correct.
Hey, Ian, did y'all find a Michigan history?
I'll let Attorney Eggers answer that question.
Judge, you could defer to them then, since I ain't got nothing
Okay.
else on this.
Okay. All right, this is Shavonda Butler, 23 CR 0038330E. One count of theft of services, May 19, 2023 is the offense date. Do you have the criminal history, Mr. Eggers?
Yes, I do. There is a guilty misdemeanor, two guilty misdemeanor, a no license in 2012 and a suspended license in 2013.
Okay. And go ahead.
Thank you. The state has brought a charge of theft of services against Shavonda Butler. As of May 19th, she was staying at a hotel, Sinestra S Suites, location 5465 Windward Parkway, Alpharetta. She had, at that time, as of May 19th, incurred a bill of $123.28 that she was not paid, did not pay. Law enforcement was called and she was given until the end of that week, May 23rd, to pay that outstanding bill. She did not pay the bill and was arrested. The state is seeking a $1,000 surety bond, stay away from that hotel premises, and a no drugs or alcohol weapons condition.
Okay. And Ms. McLeod, this is your case?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I did not hear the name of the defendant. I'm very sorry.
This is Shavonda Butler.
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Your Honor,
Mr. Bargales.
I think Ms. Kim just signed on. That is her case. And Ms. Kim, I don't know. Let's see, she signed on and then she may have dropped off. Maybe she's
There she goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Ms. Kim, I think the state, I heard the state was asking for $1,000 good bond on this case. That's all that I caught.
Okay. We would like to request for a signature on bond for this, Your Honor. This is staff of service. I believe my client is willing to, she doesn't understand why she is even charged for this. She's totally capable of paying for that. And my client is a single mom of 5 children, Your Honor, no child support. She's the only one who earns money to take care of those 5 children. And especially 3 of them are only like 9, 6, and 2 years old, Your Honor. She works as a patient care tech at Northside Hospital. She's continuously going to school to become a nurse. Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond. This is misunderstanding of her charge not being getting paid. I'm sure that she can bring the receipt that it was actually paid.
All right. I'm going to order a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order a stay away from the hotel at 5465 Windward Parkway in Alpharetta. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I guess that's it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right? Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing else from the state. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Position 4, Spanish interpreter case.
I was in a breakout room with him, so that's why I was off.
Okay. This is, oh, there she goes. All right, this is 23 CR 003828F. Samuel David Braco Bargales, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children, 3rd degree. Penn State, June 15, 2023.
Este es el caso 23 CR 003828F, el caso en contra Samuel David Bracho Borregales, con fecha de ofensa el 15 de junio del 2023.
Okay. Pre-trial.
First arrest, Judge.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 1713 Jasmine Parkway in Alpharetta, Georgia. They spoke with the defendant. They spoke with the victim, who advised that it was a verbal altercation that turned physical, at which time the defendant took a belt and beat her in front of her 2 juvenile children. We are asking for a $3,500 surety bond to the 1 count of battery, family violence with no contact with the victim. Also, no contact with the juvenile children whose initials are MP and SP. And of course, to stay away from the incident location, 1713 Jasmine Parkway in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Y este es el primer arresto. La policía fue llamada al 1713 de Jasmine Parkway. Cuando llegó la policía, le encontraron a la víctima y la víctima dijo que hubo un argumento verbal, el cual se tornó físico enfrente de los 2 hijos menores. Entonces, la fiscalía está buscando una fianza asegurada con dinero de $3,500, una orden judicial de no contacto con la víctima, no contacto con los hijos menores de edad y no drogas ni alcohol.
All right. Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
May I present, Your Honor?
Yes, I'm sorry, PD Kim.
No problem, Your Honor. Samuel David Bracho Borregales. He is only 20 years old, Your Honor. He came to US about 3 months ago, and he's been here in Georgia for 1 month. And they are roommating with Miss Martinez's brother. They live together.
El señor Samuel David Bracho Borregales tiene 20 años de edad. Llegó al país hace 3 meses, al estado de Georgia hace 1 mes y viven en el mismo departamento con el hermano de la señora.
My client denies the allegation, and he says that his girlfriend just dropped the phone and it was not a big deal, big event at all.
Mi cliente niega la alegación y la acusación e indica que la novia nada más tiró el teléfono y por eso se rompió. Y eso es todo.
And neither my client nor Miss Martinez called the police.
Ninguno, ni mi cliente ni la señora Martínez llamaron a la policía.
He believes that her brother, who does not like him, may have called the police, and he's fluent in English and spoke badly about him.
Él cree que el hermano de la novia, que no le gusta, que no aprueba de usted, es de quien llamó a la policía, y ya que él habló en inglés con la policía, él es el que indicó todo lo que había supuestamente sucedido.
And those 2 children are not their children.
Esos 2 hijos no son hijos de ellos.
We would like to request for a signature on bond since this is his first offense.
Ya que es su primer arresto y primera ofensa, estamos pidiendo una fianza solamente bajo palabra, bajo firma, sin poner dinero.
We also would like to request for no further violent contact. He has no other place to go.
Y también queremos pedir una orden de no contacto violento en el futuro, ya que él no tiene a dónde ir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gracias, su señoría.
Okay, I'm gonna do, order rather a, $3,000, surety, I'm sorry, signature bond. And I'm going to order that signature bond to be through the jail for $3,500. Stay away, 1713 Jasmine Parkway. And no further contact with the victim in this case.
What's the
And,
breakdown?
So that'll be 500 on each of the cruelties and 2,500 on the battery.
La orden judicial, la orden de la juez es una fianza bajo palabra, bajo firma de $3,500, la cual va a ser procesada en la cárcel. Una orden de que permanezca lejos de la víctima y nada de contacto con la víctima. Y que permanezca lejos de la dirección del 1713 de Jasmine Parkway.
Judge Mincy, is it a no further contact with the minor children as well, or just the victim?
With the children as well, and if there's well, I'll just make it with all of them. The MP and SP.
Tampoco puede contener contacto con los dos menores de edad.
Anything else?
Nothing further from defense, Your Honor.
All right.
Eso es todo. Your Honor,
Next case.
if there is no further business for me, may I be excused?
Yes, you may. We don't have any other cases for the interpreter, correct, Deputy?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Next, we have number 19, Mr. Monroe.
Okay. This is 23 CR 003843F. Jarvis, Monroe, one count of reckless conduct. Offense dates June 15, 2023, pretrial.
6 total. Last was 2022, failure to appear. 2020 simple battery DV, 2013 ag battery, simple battery conviction.
Okay.
Yes,
State.
in this case, Your Honor, law enforcement was dispatched to We Care Auto Mechanic Shop. Upon arrival at that location, they did speak with the owner of the location, Mr. Kamla Sowu, which is spelled S-O-W-U, who advised law enforcement officers that the front and back windshield of his vehicle was shot out by an unknown individual. Shortly after, there was another 911 call at a nearby location. Law enforcement officers then went to that location. They met with the defendant, Mr. Jarvis Monroe. He advised that he saw his ex-wife's current boyfriend and was approached by him with an assault rifle, and he returned fire to defend himself. Law enforcement officers were able to speak to an independent witness who advised that the defendant's ex-wife's boyfriend did not get out of his vehicle, nor did he have an assault rifle, and that Mr. Jarvis Monroe was actually the sole progressor and predominant aggressor in that situation. And in an attempt to shoot that individual, he actually shot out the victim, Mr. Sowu's car windows. He currently has a $5,000 surety bond. We are asking for a $20,000 surety bond to the one count of reckless conduct. No further contact with Mr. Kamla, which is spelled Komla, Sowu, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Your Honor, my client is 38 years old and he has been a resident of Atlanta pretty much all of his life. He denies the allegations as stated by the prosecution. He tells me that he was accosted by someone who was brandishing a gun at him, and he works as an armed security guard, so he returned the fire. He's not aware that he struck anyone or anything, Your Honor. In fact, he tells me that the other person shot his car windows out, and he was the one who called the police to make a report concerning what happened to him. I know that the prosecution has stated that my client does have some arrests, but I did not hear any convictions, Your Honor. So I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond. And the idea of raising a cassette bond from $5,000 to $20,000 seemed preposterous to me under the circumstances of what happened. My client was a victim. He called the police. So you can't be punishing victims because of allegations made by other people. Had he thought that he had done something wrong, he hardly would have called the police, and he did. And that is why they were able to meet with him, Your Honor. So I would ask the court to take that into consideration in setting his bond. Nothing further.
All right. I'm going to continue with the $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with A. Saru, can't pronounce that last name. And did I hear a stay away recommendation from the state or not?
You
No.
did not, Your Honor, because the shooting actually occurred on the street. The victim was just an innocent bystander, so they actually weren't at that location.
Okay,
This happened in the middle of an intersection.
right. All right, so just no further contact with the victim, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Anything else?
Nothing from the state.
Your Honor, my client is taking care of 6 children, he tells me, Your Honor. He's not in a position to post a $5,000 bond. So essentially he's going to be sitting in jail because he does not have that kind of money. This is what he tells me.
Okay, well, I'll leave it at the 5,000. State was asking for 20. All right, nothing further, that's it.
Further, Your Honor.
And then we have number 21, Mr. Robinson. Yeah.
This is 23 CR 003845D, Caleb Robinson, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. June 14, 2023 is the offense date, pretrial.
Second arrest, 2022 trespass obstruction. That's open. 22 CR 006615D. They got an FTA warrant. That's it.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to Bernie Park Apartments located at 540 Fulton Street in Atlanta, Georgia. At that location, they did speak with the property manager that advised that the defendant had been staying in a vacant apartment in that apartment complex. At that time, the defendant was arrested for 1 count of criminal trespass. As pretrial stated, the defendant already has another open criminal trespass case where there is an FTA in that case. The state will be requesting a $2,000 surety bond with the condition of a stay away from the incident location, 540 Fulton Street. Also Bernie Park Apartments.
Your Honor, my client is 19 years old. He is still in high school. He is a senior. at Phoenix Academy, he tells me. He denies that he was illegally staying at that apartment. He says he's not even been inside of that complex. What he tells me is that he lives in Monroe. He's given me an address where he lives in Monroe with his grandmother. He denies that he lives there. He said he knew someone who lived at that apartment and he went there to visit them. He never actually even went inside of the complex. He was outside of the complex. I would ask the court to give my client a signature bond. He is not employed at all because he's still a student. And in the open case that he has, he's also considered innocent. If the court does not give him a signature bond, he's going to sit in jail because he tells you he doesn't have anyone to pay any bond for him, Your Honor. And given the fact that he has no significant criminal history and just one arrest, I would ask the court to give him a signature bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not. What was the
Your Honor,
state's?
if I could briefly, in the other case where he's FTA and his bond has already been forfeited, he was already given a $2,000 SOB through the jail. So he has another criminal trespass. He's already forfeited. I mean, he's already FTA and his bond has already been forfeited. So the state feels as though a surety bond is more than appropriate.
What was the state's recommendation again?
It was a $2,000 surety and no further, well, not no further contact, but $2,000 surety and a stay away from the incident location. And that's based upon having another open criminal trespass that's in FTA status, which was a SOB through the jail. That was a $2,000 SOB through the jail.
My client has no problem with staying away from this location, Your Honor. He does not live there. He lives in Monroe, which is not even in Fulton County. It's in Clayton County. He's a student, Your Honor. He's not in a position to pay bond.
He has a problem with coming back to court. That's the issue.
Well, he denies the allegations. He denies.
He's innocent, but even if you presume your innocence, you still have to come to court, especially when you have a signature bond.
We're not saying that. We're talking about this current case. That's what I'm talking
And
about.
I'm talking about the case he's already FTA'd on. So, I mean, that goes directly to Ayala, the likelihood of you returning to court for your court dates. And he's already been given a signature bond, is in FTA status, and the actual bond was forfeited in January of this year.
All right, due to the bond forfeiture, I'm not inclined to give a signature bond. As a $2,000 surety bond. And a stay away from the incident location, the apartment. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Have a good weekend.
You too, Your Honor.
All right, let's hear number two, Mr. Baker.
All right. This is 23 CR 003827A, Lamarcus Baker, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property. June 15, 2023 is the offense date. Pretrial.
Second arrest, 2016 armed robbery, possession of marijuana. They said he was on probation for robbery. He got a parole hold. That's it.
All right, state.
Yes, ma'am. This incident happened on the 15th, just yesterday, on 1620 Hollywood Road, Northwest Atlanta. The defendant and Ms. Anaya Payne had gotten into a dispute, which caused her to leave and go to her sister's apartment, which was the incident location. When she left the apartment to go to her sister's, the defendant had in his possession her phone, her house keys, and her car keys. She later came back to retrieve a few items and took the defendant's phone, her keys, and left the apartment. She stated that she only took it because he had took her phone and she needed a way to contact her child. She then goes back to her sister's place. The defendant calls Mrs. Payne's sister's cell phone to inquire about the phone in which she took. and Mrs. Payne had arranged to meet up and swap phones. The defendant met Ms. Payne at the exit parking lot of the apartment and jumped on the front hood of the car, where he had a rock in. He jumped onto the front hood of her car where he had a rock in his hand. And so Mrs. Payne did in fact drive while the defendant was on the vehicle. However, she later stopped and called for the police. The report stated that the defendant was on top of the vehicle and used the rock in his hand to bang on a windshield and cause it to break. Your Honor, the victim has stated that she's not intimidated of the witness. However, stated that she's called the police on the defendant multiple times in the last few months, which indicates that he may have violent and aggressive tendencies. They stay together, which makes it reoffense much more likely, especially since the incident happened just yesterday. And so there's no cooling off period. For the bond recommendation, we're recommending a 3,000. Hold on, please. Hold on, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I can pull it up. Hold on, please. I'm sorry. Yeah, a $3,000 surety bond. No alcohol, drugs, and awareness. Stay away from 1620 Hollywood Road, and no further contact with Ms. Sonya Payne, and 1 day of anger awareness. But right now, Your Honor, may I please sign for the victim?
Yes. And is it Miss Payne or not for sure? What was the last name?
Her
Payne
last
is the last name.
I'm sorry.
Miss Payne, Miss Sonya Payne.
Payne. Okay. Is Miss Payne on the line? Anaya Payne? Think I
Yes.
see her. Do you wish to address the court today?
Yes.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. What would you
Okay,
like?
yeah, when the police was talking to us, I told him that I didn't want to press charges because I wouldn't be able to pay for the damage and stuff. And he said that he would cover that. So I told him I didn't want to press charges for that.
All right, any cross-examination, Mr. Robinson?
Let's see. No, ma'am, not currently.
Miss Anaya?
Yes.
All right, are you in fear of Mr. Baker?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And just keep your camera on for a second.
Okay.
You have any questions, Mr. Robinson?
No, ma'am. I like to add, however, that their home, they do stay together. Their home address is 2591 Etheridge Drive Northwest. And that's it, Your Honor.
And you've asked for stay away from the 1620 Hollywood Road or not?
I have, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do we know who resides there?
That is the incident location. That's the victim's sister's apartment.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Bartels?
Yes, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Baker. He does deny the allegations, particularly that he intentionally damaged any property. His history appears to be minimal. He does have that one previous arrest, and that's it. He is 23 years old. It does appear that there is a hold. But aside from that, he's got no other criminal history. He indicated that he's got extended family in the area. I'm told that his mother and father and siblings all live in the area. He was born and raised in Atlanta. I'm also advised that he did get a job before he was arrested. He was given a job that will start on June 27th. It's a full-time job at the Amazon Distribution Center. And I'm also advised that he can stay with his family while this case is pending. So given all that, we would ask the court to either consider a signature bond, or if the court's not inclined to do that, we would ask for a $1,000 surety bond on that charge, the trespass.
Okay. I'm going to order the $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. I'm going to order Tell me this, what again is the relationship with Miss Payne and Mr. Baker?
They have a child together, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Judge, don't forget about the parole hold.
Oh, that's
I
right.
don't know how long he's gonna be sitting on that, so.
I'm advised, I haven't had a chance to verify this, but I'm advised that the sentence runs out in the end of July.
Oh. Mm. Let me retract that and just do the $3,000 surety bond. Let me do the surety bond on that. I apologize. So that would be $3,000 surety bond, stay away from the incident location, no further contact. This just happened less than 24 hours with the victim.
Your Honor,
Payne.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I do apologize. We also want to get the stay away from the actual incident location.
Oh, the 2591 Effers Drive.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. That would be 2591 Effers Drive. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And if anything changes, I guess council can do a modification of the bond order. Motion.
So
for-
that Etheridge Drive, that is the location of the alleged victim's sister's apartment?
Miss Payne, who resides at the Etheridge Drive?
No, that's where we stay. My sister stayed is 1620.
Where did the incident occur?
At 1620.
Hollywood.
Yes, ma'am.
And neither of you reside there, correct?
No.
The stay away order from there would not be an issue.
So on Etheridge Drive, who resides there?
Me and Lamarcus.
Okay. So that's where I want him to stay away from, is the Etheridge Drive while on bond until there's been the ample cooling down period. If there's any visitation allowed with the child, that be done through a third party or facilitated by a third party. He can have a one-time law enforcement escort to return to the property to get his items. And I've already said no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. All right, that'll conclude this case.
Thank you, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Next we got number 25, Mr. White. Hold tight. Is he getting the sign out?
All right. This is 23 CR 003849G, Tory White, one count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, June 15, 2023 is the offense date, pretrial.
So bear with me. 10 cycles. Last was 2021, given false name. Possession of a controlled substance. Theft by receiving. Possession of a knife or firearm during the commission. Obstruction, ag assault. The case is open. Hold on, Judge. I'll look for the case number. Got an open felony 22 SC 185179 for a capital offense. 17 SC 155915. 16 SC 143665. Those charges are theft by receiving, forgery in the second, possession of a firearm by a first offender, obstruction, misdemeanor possession of marijuana, got marijuana with intent. Another theft by receiving, use of a firearm by a convicted felon during the commission. So it's like 3 open cases. That's it.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement officers were investigating a car auto theft. They did encounter the defendant, who did take flight or give flight to the officers, which is the basis for the obstruction. Upon making contact with the defendant, they did determine that he was wanted for an FTA on an open murder case. At that time, he was charged with obstruction. The state is asking for a $1,500 surety bond.
All right. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Tory White is 31 years old, and he was born and raised here in Georgia. He has two children that he currently resides with, 12 years old and 3 years old. And he has been working really hard at Peachtree Movers. Your Honor, he went to school, high school up to 12th grade, and yet he couldn't finish. So he is still pursuing GED. We would like to request for signature on bond for this because he has, he's not going anywhere with a failure to appear and all that kind of stuff. So we would like to request for a signature on bond for this one. Thank you very much.
All right. I'm going to order a $1,500 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons and guns while on bond. And I guess that's it. Anything else?
No,
That's it, Your
no.
Honor.
All right. Next.
Yes, we got 24, Mr. Weems.
This is 23 CR 003848J. Jamar Weems, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Offense date June 15, 2023.
14 total. Last arrest was back in March out of Cobb. Simple battery, riot in penal institution. It's open. Fulton County, possession of marijuana with intent. Possession of a firearm or knife during a commission, possession of a controlled substance with intent, possession of tools, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. It's 21 SC 179325. Ag battery DV. Ag assault DV 23 SC 187279. And he got another simple battery and carrying weapon without license and ag assault. And he's on probation for ag assault and deadly weapon. That's it.
Yeah, Sean, this is the co-defendant of the case that we just started in position 25. But again, the law enforcement officers were investigating a car auto theft. They did make contact with the defendant. He also gave flight. The state will be seeking a $1,500 surety bond to the 1 count of obstruction, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
All right, PD Kim.
Your Honor, if they are co-defendants, I have to excuse myself and withdraw myself, and then I have to ask conflict attorney to represent Mr. Jamar Weems.
I think Ms. McLeod has already logged off.
I'll call her right now.
Okay.
I apologize. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Judge,
Yes.
anybody remain in Bologna Bartels?
I don't know. Is it Mr. Bartels? You have any clients left?
Yes, Your Honor. I've got, well, actually, 4.
We'll go number 12, Mr. Hughley.
One of them is Hughley, yes. I've got Mr. Akins, Mr. Barge, Mr. Hughley, and Mr. Herbert, the 4 that I have left.
Okay. Can we do one of those? Do those?
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready on any of those.
12 right in front of him, Judge.
I'm sorry.
Number 12, Hughley, right in front of him.
Oh, okay. This is 23 CR 003837J. LaFrancia Hughley. Charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, 6/15/2023. Sorry if I mispronounced the first name. Pre-trial.
20 total. Last arrest was in April for trespass. He got an open obstruction as well. He on probation for trespass though. 22 SC 184007. And he's a habitual trespasser. That's how I can sum that up. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident took place on 6/15/2023, where officers were dispatched to 1959 Lakewood Ave for a black male actively destroying items on the property. The defendant was located walking westbound on Lakewood Avenue. Officers took the defendant back to the original incident, which is the 1959 address, and the store owner, Mr. Detta, Detta, advised that the male had been previously trespassed, and that was confirmed on the case number 2305-20177. Your Honor, the state's concern here is that there's the 23 CR 002480C, which is another criminal trespass plea. And he was told to stay away from this exact location on the SAP calendar on March the 4th of 2023. That was in front of Your Honor. And then the other case is 23 CR 001014E, which again is another criminal trespass. He took a plea and was told yet again to stay away from this exact location on the SAP calendar. And that was on March the 9th of 2023 in front of Judge Monroe. The alarming part is that during this particular arrest, officers asked Mr. Huey if he wanted for his arrest to be diverted to a PAD program, and Mr. Huey declined. Therefore, we're going to ask that his bond be set at a $1,500 surety bond, stay away from 1959 Lakewood Avenue, and that's it, Your Honor.
Okay. Bartels.
Yes, Your Honor. I did speak with Mr. Hughley. He does deny damaging any property. He, as a practical matter, Your Honor, he indicates he doesn't have anybody who's able to post a bond for him. I was going to ask for $1,000 bond. I think that would be a reasonable amount, but I doubt that he's going to be able to make either $1,000 or the $1,500 that the state is asking for. He does have family members in the metro Atlanta area, including siblings and cousins. So I believe he does have ties to the community, but we would just ask for a reasonable bond to be set.
Okay.
Your Honor, just very briefly, not to even combat what opposing counsel said. Also, I think that maybe we can try to find some resources, like send a social worker there, as I see this as a repeated behavior, and he's going to keep going back to that same exact address and coming back. So maybe we can look into trying to get him some kind of a resources to really assist him.
Okay. Can we get behavioral health out there, Mr. Bartels?
Yeah, would not disagree with that, Your Honor.
Okay.
Now, is that a social worker from the jail, or is that somebody from the PD's office we're talking about?
Usually it's the PD's office, but
We can make a referral, yes.
Make a referral. Mr. Jones, is that what you're talking about, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to order $1,000 surety bond. no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And stay away from the store at 1959 Lakewood Avenue. That should be it.
Yeah, that's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mhm.
And the social worker will go visit. Well,
Oh, and I'm sorry, yeah.
Correct.
and The
Visit
social
from the social.
behavioral health referral. Okay.
All right, we got number 11, Mr. Herbert.
This is 23 CR 003836F Dion Herbert. Charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Offense date is 3/7/2022. Pretrial.
8th arrest. He had a false report of a crime. That was acquitted. 2012 suspended license FTA 06 simple battery DV. That's it.
Okay.
yes, Your Honor. So this incident took place on March 8th, 2022. Officers responded to a domestic dispute called at 1605 Peachtree Street Northeast. Upon arrivals, officer met with the victim, Ms. Katrina Green. Ms. Green advised officers that her fiance, the defendant, struck her with a closed fist and headbutted her. In addition to doing that, he had taken items from her. During the physication, the defendant headbutted her in the forehead and struck her with a closed fist on her cheek, causing Ms. Green to fall backwards. The defendant then proceeded to take her items from her. Those items included her keys, a yellow iPhone, a red leather wallet, and he fled the scene. Your Honor, the state is concerned about his fleeing ability. He fled the scene. This incident happened well over a year ago, Your Honor. Also, the victim and the defendant are no longer in a relationship. They no longer live together. They share no children. The victim did confirm the events in the warrant and stated that she found her phone smashed outside, and the defendant left her keys at a nearby gas station, and the contents of her wallet were thrown all over the driveway, except $130 that was missing. The victim stated that the defendant has been violent with her in the past, but the police were never involved. The victim stated that she has seen the defendant a few times after the incident, and the defendant has tried to persuade her to drop the charges, which goes to our risk of intimidation, Your Honor. But the victim has not had any recent contact with the defendant. She did say that she is not in fear, however, Your Honor, we are concerned about her safety and the risk of intimidation. Therefore, the state's bond recommendation is going to be a $3,000 surety bond and a stay away from 3393 Peach Street Road, and no further contact with Miss Katrina Green. And to stand for her if she's on, Your Honor.
Miss Katrina Green on the Zoom. Katrina Green. All right, go ahead, Mr. Bartels.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Herbert and read the available discovery. He does dispute the allegations. He indicates that he was not an aggressor in this situation. As the state has noted, this was over a year ago. It appears they did not have any difficulty since then. This was in March of 2022. And like the state, I'm also informed that they are not together and they're living separately now. So I don't see that there would be an issue with a no further contact provision. My client does have ties to the community. He has extended family, including cousins who live in the Metro Atlanta area. He has 2 kids also that he helps support that are in the Metro Atlanta area. I'm advised that he's been working 2 jobs. One job is a CNA, a certified nursing assistant. The other job is traffic control for a construction company. So he is employed and does have ties to the community. Based on all of that, and I don't have access to his GCIC. I have the pretrial report. It said he doesn't have an open case pending, does not appear to be on probation for parole, does not appear to have 3 or more violations, and said his last arrest was in August 2023, which I think that must have been a misprint. But based on all of that, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond. If the court is not inclined to allow him to sign his own bond, we would ask for a $1,500 good bond.
Yeah, Paul, I skipped that line because August 2023 ain't came yet.
Yeah, I wish, but it had.
Yeah, it was. I don't know who typed it. It was a typo, clearly.
I'm sure it was an honest mistake.
Maybe
it may have been 2022. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got 2023.
Right. All right. I am going to order the $3,000 surety bond. I am going to order stay away from 3393 Peachtree Street. I'm sorry, Peachtree Road. I'm going to order no further contact with Katrina Green. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
How much is that again? I'm sorry.
3,000 surety. And that should be it.
Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
Hello? Can it be a signature bond?
No, sir.
And then we got number 1, Mr. Akins.
I'm sorry, what position is this, or?
One. Aiken. This is 23 CR 003826D. Jamonte Akins, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property. 5/8/2023 is the offense date, pretrial.
4th arrest, last was in February. Simple battery DV of felony obstruction. On probation for robbery, criminal attempt to commit armed robbery. 14 SC 130206. 2015, they gave him 7 years to serve and then 3 years probation. 2022 probation violation. That's it.
Date?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on May the 8th, 2023 on 1754 Richmond Circle Southeast. Officer Hawthorne was dispatched to a dispute with weapons at the incident location around 3 a.m. Upon arrival, he spoke with the victim, Ms. Cynthia James. The defendant, Jamonte, was sleeping on the back porch of Cynthia James' apartment without her knowing. The defendant wakes up when a train goes by and knocks on the door to speak with his mother, Ms. Jamilthea Aiken, who was in Cynthia's apartment at the time. After Ms. James told the defendant that he's not allowed in the apartment, he then proceeds to break in by throwing a chair through a window and knocking over 2 air conditioning units. She's also stated that she has not gotten the windows repaired yet because she doesn't have the money, which is about $120. The report says that he fled when the police came. Though the case was as far as a risk of reoffense, Your Honor, though the case was dismissed, he was arrested for simple battery earlier this year and had a $12,000 cash bond signed by Judge Holly Hughes on February 9th, with the condition of no further contact with Ms. Jamilthea Aiken, who was present with Ms. James during the present case. In the police report, he stated that he wanted to speak to his mother because somebody was messing with him. Also in the report, his mother stated that he was on medication for mental health, which indicates to me he might be irate and a little paranoid, which indicates him being a flight risk. The victim stated that she has that problem with the defendant in the past and had to file a police report on the defendant for stealing her gun. He was convicted of armed robbery back in 2014. He was arrested for probation violation in 2022. He has an open case that's out on a $5,000 surety bond for giving out false information to a police officer and being in possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. That was on the 18th of May of this year. We're recommending a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with Cynthia James, no alcohol, drugs, and awareness. Stay away from the incident location that was 1754 Richmond Circle Southeast, and one day anger awareness. May we please sign for the victim, Your Honor?
All right, Miss Cynthia James. Cynthia James. Don't think she's there. Go ahead, Mr. Bargales.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I don't see anybody by that name either. I have talked with Mr. Akins about his case. I didn't get a report from pretrial, so I'm not aware of exactly what his history is, but he wants to ask for a signature bond. And if the court's not inclined to do that, I would ask for a $1,500 good bond. He's just got the one misdemeanor charge that he's here today for. He does deny certain allegations that are in the paperwork. He does indicate that he's been working full-time. He is employed, I'm told, at a metal manufacturer, Fulton Industrial Boulevard metal shop. His mother and the mother of his child as well, and his extended family all live in the metro Atlanta area. I'm advised that he was born and raised in Atlanta. So he has family, he has ties to the community, and he is employed. And again, given all that, he wants to ask for a signature bond. And if that's not an option, we would ask for a $1,500 good bond.
All right. I'm going to order the $1,500 good bond, surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 1754 Richmond Circle, Southeast. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Cynthia James. And is it Jamilthea Akins too, or just Cynthia James?
The victim name was Cynthia James, Your Honor. However, he may need to stay away from Miss Jamilthea Akins as well.
Okay.
Well, I don't see what the rationale would be for that. I mean, Ms. James is the alleged victim.
Yeah, I think Miss Akins, you said, was his mother.
Correct.
Yeah, yes,
But
yes, ma'am.
He didn't threaten or have any harm towards her, right? He was just looking for her, supposedly. Is that what you read from the warrant?
I was looking at the dismissed case he had for simple battery, and on that bond, he had a condition where he had to stay away from Mrs. Jamilthea.
Okay.
But yeah, in this particular case, it said he just was wanting to talk to her. I don't see that he would get something set based on a case that was dismissed.
Maybe that's why she didn't come out, but I will hold on that. We'll just order that he stay away. Have no further contact from Cynthia James. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should do it.
Judge.
I apologize, Judge Mason. What was the bond again?
And I'm sorry, 1,500 good bond.
Thank you.
Going back to number 24, Mr. Weems.
Okay.
Ian, you want to get a history? I'll do it. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Judge, you
Your
already
Honor,
called the
I
case,
am
so-
back and I am just putting the disclaimer in that I have not yet gotten a chance to talk with Mr. Williams. I called the jail and they were supposed to get him for me and I just haven't spoken to him yet.
We were trying to catch you. I appreciate you coming back on a Friday. Mr. Walker probably has conditions on what he's going to say, but we will not read them into the record. Let's see. This again is is it Jamar Weems?
Yes.
This is going to be 23 CR 003848J. One count of willful obstruction of law enforcement officer. That offense date is June 15, 2023. Who will read me the history?
I got it. 14.
Thank you, Mr. Howard.
I'm just reading the bond assessment. It's so long. 14 arrests.
Okay.
Last arrest was in March, Cobb County, simple battery, riot, and penal institution. That's open. Got an open case in Fulton, possession of marijuana with intent, possession of a firearm during the commission, possession of a Schedule 2 controlled substance with intent, possession of tools, possession of a firearm by convicted felon. That's 21 SC 179325. I got a 23 SC 187279. That's ag battery DV, ag assault, family violence. Got another ag assault, carrying a weapon without a license in DeKalb County. Disorderly conduct, simple battery. On probation for ag with a deadly weapon, cruelty to children. 2016, they gave him 8 years probation for that. That's it.
How old is he?
I don't know.
Thought he would have said it was
27, Your Honor. 27.
27, okay.
Okay.
Old enough to know better.
It's Friday.
I'm sorry. In this case, Your Honor, he's the co-defendant to position 25. Law enforcement officers were investigating an auto theft. Upon making contact with the defendant did get flight. He eventually was apprehended. He was arrested for the one count of obstruction. Similar to the other case, I believe it was a $1,500 surety that the state requested. We will also be requesting another $1,500 surety bond based upon the defendant's lengthy criminal history and the facts of this case. Thank you.
Well, I was not able to speak with my client, but I would say that he does have some history, but that doesn't mean that he did anything wrong in this case. I haven't seen the warrant. It says obstruction. Obstruction is one of those charges that it's just a matter of perspective. Somebody may leave the scene of when they see police officers. A lot of people do that. That doesn't mean that they're doing something wrong, but many people are just conditioned now not to want to interact with the police because they know that any kind of interaction with the police can go south very, very quickly. So I am going to assume that it's probably what happened here, since my client does have some experience with the police, that he saw police officers and he figured, you know what, maybe I need to make myself scarce and be out of here. I don't know what my client's means are, but the fact that he's alleged to have at least one felony in his record probably means he is not employed in any job where he makes a lot of money. I am saying this just based on my personal experience, that people who have felonies on their record have a great deal of difficulty in finding jobs. So he probably doesn't have any money to make bond. So I would ask the court to take that into consideration in setting his bond. Since I didn't get a chance to speak to him, I would like the deputy at the jail to give him my number. I do have a secure account so that he can call me and speak to me about his case. So in the event he actually doesn't get out of jail and I have to continue representing him on an SAP or something, I will know more about him and his case, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for getting back on, Ms. McLeod.
You're welcome.
I will do the same. I will give a $1,500 surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that'll be it.
I would ask the jail, Your Honor, if they're hearing me, to give Mr. Weems my telephone number so he can give me a call when he's able to. Not at night and not between the hours of 7:30 and 8. That is much too late, and I'm always watching Jeopardy. I always like to put that out there. So I never answer the phone during that particular time period. Even my children know that.
I got it. And he said, yes, ma'am. Okay, got it.
And no late calls. I don't usually answer my phone after 6 o'clock or so.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good weekend, Ms. McLeod. Thank you for coming back.
Too.
All right.
You're welcome.
All right, let's get number 3, Mr. Barge.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's my case. That's the one that I was asking to go into a breakout room with the court and the state.
Hey, we can go into a breakout room, but the state will be reading onto the record the facts and the charge. So I'm not sure.
I don't see the point of that.
I understand you don't see the point, but that's the directive that I've been given. And that's our policy. It has been our policy for some time. So,
but your other cohorts, Ian, have been agreeing that we'll just turn off the recording.
Well,
so that it's
my
not
position is not to go into a
YouTube.
breakout room, and I routinely object to turning off the recording because that's the public's record. The public has the right to access and to be present. And,
yeah, to be present, but not to necessarily have a copy of the record.
Right.
And this involves not only the allegations, but also some medical and
well, we can go into the breakout room for medical purposes, but as far as the facts and the charge, the state will be sounding.
Right. What I'm going to do, Mr. Walker, is to ask that you exercise that caution. I will, when we come back on the record, we will call the charge a PI charge, and we will turn off the recording. We'll turn off the live stream so that it is not, but let's go in the breakout on the other facts of the case, please.
I'll go on the record, Your Honor. Well, I know we're going to the breakout room, but I just, again, don't see the rationale for that other than to try to humiliate someone or
No,
create
the
a
public
danger.
has a right
Well, it's
to
not
view.
the humiliation, it's also the safety of this defendant at the Fulton County Jail, from what I'm told as well,
That was my
Right.
other point.
dealing
And,
with
and
those
while we're
allegations.
concerned about the defendant, well, I'm not, but while some may be concerned about the
We
defendant,
appreciate that.
the victim is my concern, and the victims have a right as well. So we
And
will
we're
be
gonna
going
allow
to
the
the
victim
record.
the right to speak.
Right, right. But just for the record, we will, I mean, that's just the directive I've been given, so.
They can take it up with me, but I'm not going to have the recording to
Okay.
and the live stream to still be on.
I understand, Your Honor.
And it looks like, from what I'm told now, we only have court staff on, right? We don't have anybody from the outside on, correct? So as long as we turn